There's a side of Hollywood that not everyone sees behind the big stars and bright lights. A lot of well-known stars had problems with drinking. Some hid it, but others got in trouble because of it. Some people even got drunk at work and caused a lot of trouble. Their stories surprise, hurt, and sometimes shock you. Let's reveal 25 stars from Hollywood who were always drunk. Humphrey Bogart loved his drinks. He drank alcohol like water on film shoots. He bicycled around Warner Brothers in his jammies, laughing like a kid. He was known for his wild parties with Lauren Bacall. Directors had to deal with his drinking, but he didn't care. Alcohol and cigarettes were his everyday habits. By 1956, his addictions had become too much for his body. Another one is Amy Winehouse, a talented but troubled Hollywood celebrity. She began drinking at 12. She drank daily by 20. She was open about loving Jack Daniels and tequila. Tragically, her passion for drinking became an addiction for years. Her health and life suffered from her drinking, despite her wonderful voice and fame worldwide. Next up, the drummer Keith Moon was known for his crazy drinking and music. He throws wild house parties and pulls insane pranks. He was reckless and careless, so his alcoholism usually got out of control. His drinking ruined him. In 1978, he accidentally overdosed on alcoholism medication and died.
If I want to make it a bad day, I'll go to the pub. You know? If I want to make it a good day, I'll get a fly rod out, fly fishing, I'll do some.
Furthermore, Paul Gascoigne, the football legend, struggled with drinking for years. Once a fun-loving guy, he became a sad drunk, often drinking alone at home. His battles with alcohol got so bad that he even spent 20,000 pounds on stomach implants to make him sick if he drank. But it didn't stop him. After his football career ended, his addiction got worse. He lost opportunities and friends and often woke up regretting his nights, seeing missed calls and worrying messages.
I tell you, son, the next drink you have might be your last. Everybody was saying, hey, you got to cool it, you know? I mean, it's 40 years now.
And we can't forget that Mickey Mantle, a baseball legend, struggled with drinking his whole life. He started young and kept going through his career and after. His days often began with a strong cocktail he called the Breakfast of Champions. He'd drink bottles of wine like water and partied hard with his teammates. Even his sons grew up drinking with him. Alcohol hurt his health badly, and in 1995, he died of liver cancer, regretting his years of heavy drinking. Also on the list is Brad Pitt, who was known for his heavy drinking. He once called himself a professional boozer and said he couldn't remember a day since college when he wasn't drinking or smoking something. Wine was his favorite. He even had his winery, but it got out of control. After his divorce from Angelina Jolie in 2016, he decided to quit drinking and joined Alcoholics Anonymous. He's been open about how tough his journey to sobriety has been.
That he was drunk at the event, to which he says, that's interesting. Affleck, who has been open about his sobriety.
Moreover, Ben Affleck battled alcohol addiction for years, often drinking every day until they pass out. He didn't drink for a while, but when he tried to drink normally, it made things worse. His father's drinking had a big effect on him, and no matter how hard he tried, he got caught in the same spiral. Now that Affleck was divorced, he finally asked for help.
It's the soap Knots Landing, a time when he abused drugs and alcohol. Baldwin writes about hitting bottom and overdose.
If you thought that was wild, wait until you hear about this next celebrity. Alec Baldwin drank heavily, especially after quitting medication. Moving to Los Angeles in the 1980s made his partying even wilder. Even though he stopped drinking in 1985, he said he missed it and that it used to run his life. Off-screen and on, his drinking caused problems in his relationships and caused fights. And then there's Shia LaBeouf, who had a wild history of drinking. He got arrested twice for public intoxication, once for causing a scene at a Broadway show. His drinking made him loud and out of control, and he admitted alcohol always sent him off the rails. Growing up around drugs and alcohol didn't help, and Hollywood pressure made it worse. One time, he even got kicked out of a bowling alley and had to go back to get his shoes.
What? This is a mess.
Now we have a frightening video showing David Hasselhoff intoxicated, eating a hamburger, and shouting with his daughter went viral, revealing his drinking habits. His drinking history includes a DUI and treatment. Hasselhoff even encouraged his daughters to record him intoxicated to see how terrible things went. He enjoyed drinking, which was the true issue, despite his troubles.
Awesome. Come meet him. She's a big fan.
Another one, Charlie Sheen drank heavily. He put scotch in his morning coffee. His addiction to alcohol cost him his job on 2.5 Men after his wild conduct and harsh words made the news. Charlie drank for years after repeated treatment visits and a near-fatal overdose. He stopped after forgetting a sacred promise to his daughter.
Those things phase you. Don't drink and drive. Ever.
In addition, Lindsay Lohan was a rising Hollywood star, but her drinking soon overshadowed her talent. Known for wild partying, she admitted to heavy drinking from a young age. Even though she went to treatment several times, she kept getting into trouble, including DUIs, probation violations, and even jail time. This put her difficult journey in the public eye. However, Dennis Hopper was one of Hollywood's wildest stars. His drinking was legendary. He once said he drank 28 beers and half a gallon of rum every day. And if that wasn't enough, he added 3 grams of cocaine into the mix. He believed artists had the right to experiment with drugs and alcohol, and for him, it was all part of the creative process. Even with all this chaos, he kept making movies. Before becoming Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. battled addiction from a young age, even trying drugs at just 8. He lost control of his drug and alcohol use as he got older. He was arrested multiple times for reckless behavior, and his addiction almost ended his life and career.
How long had you been drinking again?
A couple months. Years go by.
However, Mel Gibson's drinking led to some of Hollywood's biggest scandals. He was arrested for drunk driving and made offensive comments while intoxicated. His blood alcohol level was far above the legal limit. Gibson later accepted he had a serious drinking problem and started getting help, but his habit caused a lot of trouble.
That's a good shot. That's a good shot right there, Mickey. That's a good shot.
Furthermore, Mickey Rourke was a rising Hollywood star, but his drinking soon took over his life. Known for his tough guy image, alcohol fueled his wild behavior, leading to fights and bad company. As his career fell apart, he turned to drinking even more, using it to escape his anger and loneliness.
The doctors were charged with giving the actress 1,000 prescriptions for 28 controlled substances.
The next celebrity's wild behavior often came with a drink in hand. Elizabeth Taylor was a Hollywood icon, but behind the beauty, she struggled with heavy drinking. She admitted she drank because she was extremely shy and thought alcohol gave her confidence. It made things worse. She often got dangerously high from alcohol and medication. She drank Jack Daniels with painkillers in the hospital. After staying at the Betty Ford Clinic, she faced her addiction.
Vague things about it. I almost fell down as I came in. I was so dead drunk.
Marlon Brando, one of Hollywood's greatest stars, struggled with drinking throughout his life. With parents who drank heavily, he developed similar habits. Brando often used alcohol to deal with his troubled childhood and the pressure of fame. Despite his battles with addiction, his remarkable talent kept him in the spotlight.
All of us that came on the set, I think I just stared at it and thought, oh, this will be interesting.
Gin and orange?
Moving on, Oliver Reed was known as much for his wild drinking as his acting. He loved partying, starting fights, and pulling crazy pranks. Despite heavy nights of drinking, he'd arrive on set without a hint of a hangover. His legendary reputation lives on, with fans still pouring drinks on his grave. On to the next, Judy Garland was a Hollywood icon, but her personal life was filled with struggles. Pushed to stay thin and work nonstop from a young age, she turned to alcohol to cope with pressure and loneliness. Despite her incredible talent, addiction took over, and though she kept performing, the drinking never stopped.
Newsreel, the press, evidently want me to say something about my...
Moreover, John Barrymore was a talented actor. but his heavy drinking ruined his career. He often forgot his lines, relying on hidden notes on set. His off-screen drunken antics became Hollywood gossip. Despite his charm and humor, his addiction worsened over time, and by the end, he could barely work. And we can't forget, W.C. Fields was famous for his love of alcohol. He hoarded whiskey and gin, fearing Prohibition's return. On movie sets, he carried a flask of gin martinis, calling it lemonade. Once, someone replaced it with real lemonade, and he angrily shouted, "Who put lemonade in my lemonade?" Here's a star whose heavy drinking became part of their reputation. Errol Flynn was Hollywood's wildest party animal. He drank vodka disguised as medicine and soaked oranges in alcohol for secret sips. His Malibu home was nicknamed Cirrhosis by the Sea because of his heavy drinking. Even after doctors warned him, he never stopped and was buried with 6 bottles of whiskey.
What's your name?
Dave. I'm Dave. I'm Dave.
Your surname?
Letterman. Dave Letterman.
Also on the list, Peter O'Toole, the star of Lawrence of Arabia, drank so much that he often forgot his lines. He once said alcohol made life more fun, but it also made his life messy. He would show up on set with a hangover, sometimes even still drunk. He was known for wild drinking nights, but he was lucky to survive his reckless habits. And finally, Richard Burton was famous for his heavy drinking. At his worst, he drank 2 to 3 bottles of vodka a day. He once called 1 bottle his sober limit. During filming, he sometimes had to sit or lie down because he couldn't keep his balance, but his talent still shined. Hollywood has always had its wild side, and these stars took their drinking habits to legendary levels. From forgotten lines to off-screen antics, their lives became cautionary tales wrapped in fame and excess. If you found this as shocking as I did, like, comment, and subscribe. There's plenty more Hollywood drama coming your way.